You're not gonna push me around. You can't get me down, down, down. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with Brittle Nicky 3, the Rare Americans music video that has been long awaited. Even longer for others who had been waiting since the first two were actually released. Now, we reacted to the first two Brittle Nicky videos on this channel as part of our many Rare Americans reactions. And yeah, this is the only one we're doing today. I decided I wanted to give this one its own video because amongst all of the great videos and songs that this band has, like Brittle Nicky is probably the most memorable. I don't know if I'd say it's the best in terms of musical quality, in terms of lyricism, in terms of even the visuals, but it's what they're most known for, without question. It is their most iconic character, their most iconic story, and it's not over. So just to recap, in the first Brittle Nicky, we got to see the life of Nicky. He's this kid who was born into a terrible family situation. He had a loving mother, but his father was abusive and terrible, and I believe it implied that his father killed his mother. I think. I watched this like a couple weeks back. I watched the first two again, because I watch them here and there every so often. But I think that's what it was implying. But he went into the foster care system. He was like abused and picked on, and he got the name Brittle Nicky from a foster brother. And as he went through life, he kind of started having to not only stand up for himself, but try to figure out how to deal with all of this bad shit that was thrown his way. And he was a good person, but he got involved in some bad things, such as drugs and whatnot. He got involved with the law and even got imprisoned. But most of it was due to sources outside of his own control fucking him over. The various systems of the world and the government and whatnot basically put him into a no-win situation. And although he was a good, noble, kind person who cared about people and tried to help them out and do the right thing whenever possible, it sometimes manifested in negative ways, such as violence and whatnot, and crime even. But he wasn't a bad person. Like we even see while in prison, he sees his only friend, the only person who's kind and caring towards him, is getting attacked, and he risks his life to save him. Eventually Nicky does get out of prison, but by that time he's an old man and he ends up passing away shortly thereafter. And that's what ends the first part of the currently trilogy now. We see that through that first video and song that a lot of his issues were thrust upon him, and he's tried to make the best out of it, but it hasn't worked out. And that's where the second one comes in. Brittle Nicky 2 centers around his journey into the afterlife. We see him interact with God/Satan, and I say slash because in this mythology, they're the same being, which really pushes forward the idea that these songs are going through about all of this negative, horrible shit being thrust upon him through means outside of his own. It really hammers in that basically his life has just been fucked over because of others. um, but he ends up going through like the afterlife and seeing all this stuff, and he ends up coming with the idea of wanting to save his mother's soul. And the only way to do so is to become a spirit, this skeletal spirit that can possess people and seemingly achieve these goals, these missions, do things for the enemy, basically. And it's the only way for him to save his mother's soul and be reunited with her. So he takes it. And this confirms that the skeleton we had seen throughout the videos has been him the entire time, which we kind of already figured out, but it really just hammers that in. And now the third one, I assume, is going to be about him trying to complete this deal, trying to finalize it and be able to rest in peace with his mother. That's what I'm thinking this is going to be. Of course, I might be wrong. It might be something different. It might be more than... I would assume it'd have to be at least similar to that, because we have a sequential story being told. But there might be more to it. It might be like not that simple. I don't know. It's been quite a while since the second one actually released, and like it's also been a while for me. I think it's been a couple years since I first reacted to the second one. So it is a good thing I have watched them again more recently, because they're a lot fresher on my mind than they would be otherwise. And I'm definitely excited to see this, to see if like the animation has improved, to see if the story is resolved here, and what more happens. So yeah, this is probably one of the only times we'll have a Rare Americans video that's just one video. But like I said, I wanted to give this its own video because it just felt like it deserved it. So the reaction will be short. I apologize for that, but there's not really anything I can do in regards to it. The reaction will just be this one video, so it will be short. It almost doesn't seem like it's worth redirecting, but for copyright reasons, especially since this is a song, I'm definitely going to. So, that all being said, thank you so much for tuning in. And we're just going to get into this reaction and hope for the best. Cutting in here real quick to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions with 2 on Wednesday. We also have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. I do pre-record them during the week, but upload them on the weekend. And we have gaming content over on the Secondary Princess of Gaming channel. We have Baldur's Gate 3 every day, Horizon Forbidden West every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. We have Beyond Two Souls on Wednesday and Sunday, and Poppy Playtime on Saturday. Don't forget to click the link in the description below to follow it to today's reaction. We redirect due to copyright. It's just what we got to do here on the channel. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you want to see more awesome content such as this. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Let's get to today's reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, this is not what I expected at all. And honestly, I'm not sure if I liked that. Like, so this was not a sequential, like, follow-up to the second one. This was basically Nicky, like, going back to when he was 20 and basically telling us of a completely unconnected story that happened with that. Nicky, when he was 20, his foster brother died. And this is presumably what we saw in the first one. In the first one, we saw Shifty um, was bullying him, and then he was like, he slipped and fell on the food and like smacked his like chin into the table and stuff. And there was always kind of the question that I was wondering, like, I don't remember if anyone answered or said anything back when I first reacted to that, but I always kind of wondered, like, did he die? It was never completely clear. The impact was super heavy and it was made to look very intense, but it wasn't clear like what the implication was. And this confirms it. Shifty died. And Nicky was going to be that was what Nicky was going to be imprisoned for and everything. But before he ended up running away. He ran away and joined the circus with this performer named Carla, a immigrant who had come here to escape the war, we find out. And he and Carla fell in love. And they had this big plan to escape the circus, to get her freedom and safety. And the plan seemed to mostly work out until the end, where she... Was it that she went back on the plan? Was it that she, like, out of fear, just, backed out? It was something like that. I'd have to watch this again and really listen to the lyrics to really get that down, but it was something along those lines. And we know the moment that he got arrested from the first one, so this predates that, because we know he was involved in drugs and everything, which is possibly due to this situation. He possibly like got like really down because of this and got involved in drugs afterwards. And the one girl who was snorting coke off his boner, um, that wasn't Carla. I was questioning that for a brief moment in my mind, but I'm like, no, that wasn't. So that was some other woman he was in a relationship with, and he just wasn't in a good place, probably because of the Carla stuff. That this seems like that's the only reason for this the events of this video to be told, to explain why he was in as bad a situation as he was when he got arrested, when the cops like burst in his door and uh, started to attack and arrest him and almost raped the girl. But yeah, it's like that seems to be the only reason for this specific story to be told, as for Brittle Bones Nicky 3. To give backstory to that, but I don't feel that was ever necessary. Because here's the thing. This is like entirely nothing what I expected. And they hinted that a Brittle Bones Nicky 4 could be on the horizon in the near future. But it's like, this felt like a complete waste of time for the story and everything. Like, the song was good. Don't get me wrong. I want to make that clear. The song was good. The visuals were good, even though I don't think they were as exciting as the previous two. They felt like they were cut back on a little. They definitely didn't seem like they were as polished and well animated and stuff as the first two videos. Maybe that's just me though. Also, there was almost none of the skeleton Nicky in here compared to the first two. It's like, I understand it's showing his past and showing like showing flashback stuff, but it's like you could still intercut that with skeleton Nicky. It also took until pretty much the end to connect it back to the first two lyrically, which the first two, like, yeah, had some differences and all in terms of lyrics and sound, but they connected a little more often. And because of this one not doing that, it felt less connected to the first two. And combined with the fact that it also like seemed random in terms of its story placement and choices. I just feel like I wasn't impressed with this. Considering the weight that people had for this, I'm just kind of disappointed. Imagine, I would be even more disappointed if I was waiting as long as everyone else was. But it's like, even just for the time I've personally been waiting, again, it wasn't bad. It was just, it was disappointing in terms of what they chose to focus on. And I really hope that we do get a Brittle Bones Nicky 4 now, just in order to, get the actual resolution on the story I thought we were going to get here. Because this felt like it was a trilogy, right? This felt like this was supposed to be a trilogy, and that that the third one was going to end it. But instead, they just do something completely irrelevant and choose to do its own thing. Because here's the thing. This takes place like decades and decades into the past of the modern day with Nicky. Like he's dead. He died of old age and all. After being released from prison. This just isn't relevant. It has nothing to do with anything. And I'm just disappointed that it didn't continue the sequential story and went back to something that's like not needed to understand, apart from the first one. Because it's like, it's not like Carla's going to return unless we see Carla in hell or whatnot too. And that's assuming she's already dead as well. She might still be alive for all we know. It's like I don't get it. I don't get it. It's not what I expected or wanted. And I know that might sound like selfish or whatnot, but think about it. People have been begging for this one for years. And this is what they give us? I know beggars can't be choosers and all that, but like, really? It just feels entirely disconnected and random. So while it was good, while it was, again, well written, well sung, well structured, all of that jazz, it is in no way what I think I or anyone else was hoping for with this. We wanted a continuation of the story, not some random flashback thrown in. I'm just I just don't I don't get it. I don't know how else to put this, and I'm sorry I'm just like sitting here being very quiet and like repeating the same thing, but it makes no sense to me that this is what they decided to do, unless this does end up like tying into the next part and conclusion of the actual story. But even then, it's like, why? Why was this needed? I just I want to see the actual story come to a close. I want to see the actual plot, continued. I honestly I don't care what happened to Nicky like in the past. I don't want to I'm not interested in hearing any more like anecdotes about things that happened to him decades prior to his death. That's not relevant to why I want more Brittle Bones Nicky. So again, hopefully, if slash when they make the fourth, it's actually focused on the main story. I'm really curious to see what other people are going to say about this. I'm definitely going to check out the comments section. Um, because I just want like confirmation that it's not just me. I want to feel better about my views on this, and so I'm hoping that someone in the comments is on my side there. Please vindicate me. But I genuinely want to hear other people's like even dissenting opinions and all too. I want to know like what people think. So tell me in the comments below, what did you think of Brittle Bones Nicky 3? Let me know your thoughts, and for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.